everyone to another edition of the Cryptid Consortium. We are back after a little break. We are on episode 5 of season 1. And Nick, you want to tell everyone what we're covering this evening?
All right, as promised 3 weeks ago, today we're going to be doing the Chupacabra. And I've uncovered, I've known about this for a while, but I've uncovered a lot more facts about the Chupacabra, the different types that they have out there. And Gery, you have the pictures sent to you, I
Yeah.
hope, and we'll slap some of them up there as we're discussing the Chupacabra. Well, I guess I'll just kick it off.
Okay.
Even though most modern research is going to show that the Chupacabra first came to light in March of 1995,
Yeah.
my deep dive research has shown that in Puerto Rico back
Yeah.
in 1927,
Oh, okay.
in Puerto Rico, it was first brought to the public's attention. And it was blamed, as it was in 95, for the deaths of a lot of people's
Yep.
goats
Livestock.
and sheep and some dogs, some
Dogs.
chickens and the like. I want to expand on the one in Puerto Rico, but most people talk about Chupacabra. They reference Mexico and they reference southern Texas,
Right.
but that's actually the birthplace of the Chupacabra was in Puerto
Yeah.
Rico.
Yes.
Well, it's funny you said that because even the name Chupacabra goes farther back than 95. It goes,
Right.
I was trying to think what the actual word they're saying. Spanish pronunciation is Chupacabra, literally goat sucker from the Spanish chupa sucks, and the legendary creature of folklore of the 30s and 40s of the South American dialects. But yeah, it is. And I was talking to some of my Spanish friends, being married into that culture for so long, I still have a lot of friends, and they say that it goes back. Even one guy was saying, I don't know how reliable that is. I mean, I trust the guy, but he says even the Incas, talked about something
Oh, wow.
similar. But we'll get into that because the Incas called what they're describing as the modern day people are describing as Chupacabra. The Incas call a Los Mosados, which is called the gray one, which is another name for vampire. So I'm wondering where the definite where the crossover is, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I know Nick. We'll talk about that.
The blood sucking thing. That's what
Yeah.
vampire.
Well, even the descriptions. That was another thing for me, and we'll get into that in a minute. The actual Spanish description from the Puerto Ricans all the way south is totally different than the South Texas.
Totally.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, well, when it was mentioned, a radio personality in Puerto Rico brought it out there, and he started talking about it. And the population in Puerto Rico, the people that were listening to him, they were getting all riled up and all bringing their kids into the house, at 5 o'clock before the sun went down and everything. They had goats and sheep and chickens and even some small domestic dogs that were killed, and they were blaming it on the Chupacabra.
Yep.
To this day, they really never found, what animal was doing it out there. However, I want to say that I didn't write it down, and I don't remember this lady's name. If you guys have it, just throw it out there. But the lady who reported the sighting of the Chupacabra to the radio station
In South Texas?
in Puerto Rico,
Puerto Rico.
in
Okay.
March
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
1995. I don't know if you guys have that.
Let
I sent you some study material on that.
Madeline. I can't pronounce the last name, but he begins with a T.
All right,
Yes,
Madeline. It turns out now, mind you guys, my mantra is to prove or to disprove, and I'm glad we're doing Chupacabra because I actually got to see one, a dead one, and then a live one the year after. 2010, I got to see a dead one, and then 2011, I went back down the Southwest Texas, and I actually saw a live one.
No.
And so this, like the Mongolian deathworm hit home for you, Gery,
Yeah.
Chupacabra hit home for me. because of the fact that I actually got to see one and touch it and all that
Well,
stuff.
and we'll get to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, in Puerto Rico, the way she described it. Now, mind you, there are two types of chupacabras.
Now you're going. Keep going.
Here you go. All right. Yeah. You've got the bipedal, the one that walks on 2 feet.
Looks like a reptile.
Yeah, looks like a reptile. And he's got scales, big, thick scales.
And spikes on his back. Yep.
Yeah, that's the spikes and big red eyes. Gary, you want to throw it up there while we're talking about him?
Yeah. Sorry.
And then the second type, which most people, if you want to take a ride down to Texas and get out there into the wilderness, you'll see the second type, which is the four-legged kind. Now, the four-legged kind has maybe a little tiny tuft of hair from the top of its head straight down the middle, all the way back. All right, so here's our chupacabra as reported, but she said it had red eyes. Is there another one there, Gary? Looks like this one? Yeah, throw him up. So anyway, this was the first one that they were reporting. I put it in your.
I got it right here.
There we go. At least this guy has red eyes. Now, what she was talking about when she described what she saw, I investigated this as deep as I could possibly investigate it. I even got to see some unredacted police reports on her eyewitness of this thing. And the detective that spoke to her actually got down to, where were you on the night of at such and such a time? It just so happens that during a 4-month period, January through the end of April, an American production company was filming a space science fiction movie in Puerto Rico.
Really?
Guess what the main monster looked like? This guy here. She went and she admitted to the detective that she had seen the movie that night. And she also admitted to the detective that she was sipping a little canister of tequila in the movie theater. All right, so here's little things. This is where I love to, say I really want to prove or disprove the existence. And I'm saying that what she said was a description of the movie monster that she saw. It just played in her mind, and she gave the description. And it looked like this guy right here with the red eyes. A little bit bigger red eyes, I think she described, but it's very similar to this guy. Yeah. So you see, folks, here in Puerto Rico, we had that. But the people wanted to jump on the bandwagon, and they wanted to blame something for the deaths and mutilations of, the sheep and the goats and the little dogs and chickens and whatever else they had out there. But there was a lot of them that were killed, and not just in that town that she lived in, but in several neighboring towns. So evidently they had something out there. So that was back in March of 1995. Like I said, she was describing that monster. That they showed in the science fiction movie.
And again, I love how you put it that was the first rendition of the first modern reports, because if you go into farther south and even like Besos Nagal, Argentina, and Bolivia, they talk about it, long ways back, but they don't describe it like this. They don't describe it. They put it more as a vampire, a vampiric type of creature. The only area that I seen, like you said, this description was that Puerto Rican one. Now you get into South America, they even start, and in Mexico, in Tampico, there was a sighting in 84, 85, I think it was, in Tampico, that they said it looked like a kangaroo with wings. And that's where I was talking to you before the show. That sounds a lot like the description of the Jersey Devil. Yeah. And then you two had to mention that they've had sightings of the Chupacabra all the way up into Maine and Canada. It's like,
well, believe it or not, you're right about the one in Maine, definitely. But also they had sightings in Russia of Chupacabra. And I'm talking about the four-legged kind.
Okay. Not okay. Now, do you want me to pull that picture up now, or?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
give Jay his
Got
chance.
a lot of sightings out of Paraguay as well.
Yeah. Well,
Which,
that's South America.
And Jay,
yeah,
is
yeah.
that the four-legged ones?
That's this one right here that we got on the screen. The four, like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this one, the bipedal one.
Yeah, yeah.
Bipedal, yeah.
And like I said, I was saying before the show, you know, and I might have even said it during the show a while ago that you know, my first wife was Peruvian, and my son still, you know, is half Peruvian, but that down there they call them the Los Maceros, which is the gray one. And they kind of, it's a kind of a blanket description for even like, but they all suck blood, but like vampires, these guys. You could even almost take it to and it's funny that y'all mentioned the third puncture, because as everybody knows, the whole alien thing is coming out. A lot of the mutilations and stuff, even in Colorado, had 3 puncture wounds of the cattle with the blood drained. So maybe they might have seen a gray alien or something doing it, and
might be something else completely.
it could, it very well could.
Something interesting here is that in '95, in a city called Canaroo,
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. In Puerto Rico, 30 citizens claim to have seen the Chupacabra, this one right here, come down from the sky and hit the trees, bounce from tree to tree, and then come down and attack the livestock.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting in itself.
I don't know whether that was mass hysteria or what, you know.
It could very well could.
I like y'all's statement, and this is where I'm going to kind of jump way ahead to my final conclusion on this and put it out a little bit out early. I am finding that there seems to be a lot of things going on with this, and maybe there's a lot of misidentification or misassociation, because the things that they're showing in Texas, we see in Oklahoma all the time. The little 4-legged things, and I've never heard of them sucking blood. Now they'll suck an egg. I've seen them rip an egg open and suck the you know, the yolks and stuff out of them.
Right.
And I've seen them run up and grab a hold of a chicken and break its neck and leave it laying, or a small animal break its neck and leave it laying, especially if it gets scared off. But I've never seen one of them rascals, you know, suck the blood out of something. You know?
No, that's what I want to talk about for a real life experience, because as you guys know, I've been north, south, east, west in the United States, and in field investigating different types of cryptids. Way before I, had my encounter with a dog man, which was in 2013. What I did back in 2010, one of the guys from my old unit, he gave me a call, Tom. He gave me a call one day in 2010, and he described what he had spoken to a farmer/rancher in Chad Juarez, Mexico, over the border. Now, this man is a rancher, but he's also a farmer. So I guess they do it all over there, but they're really into wearing the cowboy hats and the boots and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Vaquera.
Anyway, he said he can arrange for me to go there with him, because Tom spoke fluent Spanish and I wouldn't have gone over there without him. He said, "You want to come down here, take a flight down here, he'll drive." And we went over the border, got our checked and everything. And we went to this guy's farm, and for $20, he would show me, $20 American, he would show me the Chupacabra, and he would also show me the sheep one of the sheep that the Chupacabra bit. He killed the Chupacabra.
Wow.
Okay, so I handed him the $20, no problem. Goes into the barn, and he's got it right there. And man, this thing is stinking. The thing he didn't tell me was that, or he didn't tell Tom, is that he had killed it like 12 days before that. But he was leaving it out there. He wanted to make some money off of this thing. Long story short, I looked at this thing and I took a sampling of it, put it in a bag, and I took it back, and I asked him later on to see the sheep that this Chupacabra bit and killed. But before we did that, I measured it. It was about 40 inches from the nose to its butt.
Okay.
Bluish gray skin, practically no hair. I mean, if it was a tenth of an inch, that's a lot. But
Yeah.
at the top, from the top of the head all the way down to the tail area, it had about a good 3/4 of an inch of hair popping up. It looked like those little spiky things.
Spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'll jump ahead. I took it back and I brought it to my veterinarian who does DNA testing on dogs and animals. It came back. Here we go. I love to prove or disprove. This is the four-legged variety. Can you throw that one up there,
All
Gary?
right, I'm working on it. I got it right here,
Okay.
ready to go. Let's see, share
All right.
screen.
What it came back, for my $275 was that this was part wolf, part coyote, and 2% of it, 98% was part wolf, part coyote, and 2% was they couldn't find out. It was unknown.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay. I
this
didn't know
one
that.
has more hair than your regular one.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Gary, there's another picture there. Where there's
Right
a
here.
guy. Yeah, all right. That's good. You can see there's really no hair on that thing and all that.
Here we go. Here's a good one.
There's the one I sent you. Yeah.
Look at that thing.
There you go. There's your dead one. But this sucker was 40 inches. That's over
Long?
It's over 3 feet. Come on, it was
Yeah.
40 inches long.
Yeah.
From the snout all the way to the back of that tail. I don't mean the tail, it's the tip of the tail, where the tail starts inserts in the body. Now, like I said, I brought it to my vet. The guy said part wolf, part coyote, 2%. He couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So then Tom's talking to him and he's saying, can we go see the sheep or whatever else this thing killed? And he let us see the sheep. And it did have not on the back of the neck, but just down about 2 inches, it had the puncture wounds and it broke the sheep's neck.
Oh, okay.
Now, once something to mention is because they have this nasty, I want to call it a mange, this manginess, skin disease, they lose their ability to hunt.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why they go after livestock.
Absolutely. Keep talking, brother.
Because livestock is just easier.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to hunt. I mean, going after a sheep's going to stay there and go, duh,
Yeah.
A goat might put up a little bit of a fight, but not really. Now,
Oh, that was a good one.
there's the one. Where's the one where the lady is holding the head? So you can see they can get quite big.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, let me throw something to back you up 100% because I'm so glad you brought this up because I did the same thing. The way a dog would attack a sheep is to come up underneath and to grab the throat.
right.
Look at the teeth on this thing.
Yep.
You see, the two canines would cause the two punctures on the side of the neck of a sheep. But here's the whole point.
Right.
The side of the neck of the sheep right here has less flesh on it than it does down here. So when that jaw latches down, as y'all know, I'm kind of an expert on dog bites. The top teeth do more damage than the bottom because of the pressure coming down. It's where all the muscle structure is.
I wish I could control your mouse, but you do this, Gary. You see the tongue? You see the tooth to the right of the tongue?
Yeah.
Right here.
No, the other side. That's the
Other
left.
side.
The right.
Right here?
I
Yeah.
can tell you're in the military. The wrong right. All right, that one there. There's where your third puncture wound comes in.
Absolutely.
It's chomping down.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they'll get that kind of a chomp on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where 90% of the time it's just the two because the lower jaw doesn't have the pronounced teeth, and a sheep has more fur or wool on the bottom of the neck.
Right.
But on the side, it would go in.
Right.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Nick, because I was going to bring it up.
I'm sorry. Now,
No. This shows that great minds think alike. Now, folks, y'all have to understand the dynamics of this. We don't talk to each other before these shows.
Never. No.
We about the subject matter. This is all
independent research.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so we're there, right? And Tom convinces him to show me the sheep. And he says, okay. So we get there. Before we go into the other section of the barn, he wants another $20. So I go, okay, I'm here. What the heck? Here's $20. Mind you, this was 2010, the year 2010. So $20 is worth about what? $25 over here in the USA? It's a little bit more money. A little bit more valuable. Anyway, he shows me the sheep. So I said to him, look, I already paid you the $20. Will you allow me to cut open the sheep? I want to show you that it didn't suck the blood out of your sheep. And Tom is talking to him. He's going, no, 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 me do, right? He cut the belly of the sheep open. Then I pointed to him an artery. And I said, cut that artery in half. He didn't really want to cut it because he's the blood going to go on the sheep's wool. I said, but you said there's no blood in your sheep. So okay, right? He cuts it open, and lo and behold, there's a red gelatinous substance in the artery on both ends. You know what that was? It's blood. Now, when you die, your heart stops pumping blood. And if you're going to lay there, it's going to coagulate, people.
Absolutely.
Okay? There is no blood to be sucked out, later on. First of all, they don't suck the blood, but there is no blood being sucked out if the thing's laying there, the sheep's laying there for a day or day and half a day.
Especially in the heat of Puerto Rico and Mexico, it's going to coagulate quicker.
Right, and this was Chad Juarez, Mexico, by the way.
Yeah.
And he left it out, right? And he was going to shear the sheep to get the wool, but he got my $20, which is probably more than he was going to get from the wool anyway. But I proved to the guy, hey, the blood's still in your sheep, Jack. Nobody sucked any blood out of there, right? So that was 2010. Let's run forward to 2011. I'm visiting my buddy Tom again, and he's taking me out into the desert areas of Texas, of Southwest Texas. And lo and behold, what do I see? One of these guys right here, a big one, a big freaking one. Not this one. Nope. There, something like that, but bigger than this, running around in the desert area of Texas.
Uh-huh.
All right, now I thought that was something. I'm like, wow, I saw a dead one, now I see a live one. Same thing, right? Well, we stopped to go get some lunch, and we were talking about it, and the waitress and the cook overheard us talking, and the waitress goes, our cook over there has seen these a lot. And she goes, I've seen it a couple times. And this just totally broke my whole day open, right? The cook comes over, he goes, these things are common in Texas. He goes, you'll see these all over the place.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, really? Okay. So much for the Chupacabra and so much for my one sighting, right? Big deal. But guys, these things just like this here have been seen up in Russia. They've been, like Gary said, in Maine,
Canada.
Yeah, and like Jay said also, in Canada, they've been up there. But like any animal, they're not going to stay in their so-called territory. I mean, there's mountain lions up in Maine. You probably have mountain lions up where you are, right, Jay?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, my God. Yeah. What you could use a few mountain lions in is where Gary lives in Oklahoma, for crying out loud.
Oh, we got them.
Yeah, well, how come they aren't eating bacon a lot? I mean,
I know they need to. I'm sure they're trying, but I'm waiting for a Chupacabra to come out. They're gonna turn the pig into a Chupacabra.
The deadly snorks over there. Yeah, wow, man. Yeah, I'd love to see one of those. A 1,200-pound Chupacabra with four tusks and all that stuff. Oh my God.
Well, I think you brought up a real good point, Nick. That right here, what we're looking at, and me being a dog trainer and everything else, I've dealt with dogs in every state of health there is. A lot of dog breeds have dark skin. My Malinois has dark gray skin underneath his fur. And here's the key point. South Texas, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Argentina is known for three things: the heat, the dampness, and ticks. And ticks, in that heat, these dogs will start scratching so much because of the ticks. They'll get mange, and mange just does not go away. I mean, even on my dogs, I've had to treat mange for months, and that right there is a dog with mange. I'm sorry, that's a dog with mange.
And they suffer so much.
Yes, and it makes them mean.
And
Like,
they look for an easy kill because
absolutely
they can't track things down anymore. They're just miserable, and you can
Yeah.
see on that hind leg right up near the stomach area. There's a deep portion of mange over there on this one.
Well, guys, I'm sure y'all have been out in the woods, especially you, Nick, with your military background, and get the ticks, but also get what we've always called, jungle rot in certain areas of the body. Well, that's exactly what it is, all over the body. And it also, another thing that'll cause this too, a lot of people don't know, that runs rampant down the closer you get to the equator, is lice. There's a red body lice. I ended up getting red body lice in where was it? No. I was in South America. I was in Guatemala. Sorry,
I'm sorry. That's the sand ticks I was talking about.
Yeah. But we got a type of red body lice. They had to quarantine us for almost 3 weeks. We shaved every hair off of our body and scrubbed down with. It's almost like quail. But the lice down there will cause that, and people don't understand that the level of, for the lack of better terms, the level of cleanliness in the culture is not like America. We're spoiled up here, and especially with the animals, and that's where I'm glad that Nick brought that up, because I think they're mistaking two cultural items here. I think they're I don't know about y'all, but I believe in vampires. And I think that's what's happening is they're just putting a face on something else. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, these poor things, they do suffer, but they are seen all over, southwestern Texas and other parts of the USA. So the Chupacabra isn't a bipedal animal. Like I said, I think that lady was just describing what she saw in that movie.
Well, I would agree in that case, but there's a lot of cases on, like I said, South America, Peru, Bolivia, Guatemala, Argentina, that they talk about more towards like we was talking about, the tall bipedal, gray skinned. And I honestly think that would be more something else on the level of it may be a vampire or something like that. I think it's a miscommunication in between the two.
Right.
Or misidentification, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, misidentification. I think that one would be something different, though.
Yeah.
That the one that they have down there in Peru and all. It was funny.
I question, Nick. What is that appendage on their rear end?
That's a tail.
No. You guys haven't seen the other pictures with the double. It's got like a double appendage on its rear end.
I don't see what you're saying. I don't see them.
You can't see it in this picture, in these pictures. But the one that lady in Texas has stuff. She talks about an appendage on the rear end that sticks out. I wish we had a picture of it.
It's not like the bipedal one you're talking about.
No, not the bipedal one. It's this one
if you're talking about the lady that was on Monster Quest, the blonde-headed gal.
Yeah.
Okay, that I don't know how to say this without being a little bit obtrusive.
Yeah,
that
I don't want to be cruel.
that animal that she had prolapsed.
Okay.
Its intestines had decomposed enough that the innards was coming out the anus.
Okay.
That was prolapsing.
That makes sense.
And that's also that's another thing too with the mange is if you get the mange around the anus and it dries the skin up and makes it swell up even more.
Yeah, it's like when you have your dog and the vet says you have to express their glands.
Yes.
And it's just it's overgrown. That's what you probably mean. You mean in her picture, it was under the tail.
Yeah, that was where it prolapsed.
It was sticking out.
Prolapsed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all it was. From the innards, it was coming out. I didn't understand what you were saying, but
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, the big thing that got me though with that one is they tested the DNA of that one also,
Yes,
And
they
Nick,
did.
if I remember right, it was similar to yours, as it came back part wolf, part coyote.
Yeah.
So it almost makes me lean towards the coy wolf. You know, we have a lot of coy wolves
Yeah.
here in Oklahoma. They're
We do too.
all the way up
Yeah.
into Virginia, and they're bigger than a coyote, smaller than a wolf. You know,
Smaller than a wolf. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I tell you, well, some of these things when you mix them up, like the liger being a
yeah,
tiger and a lion, and something I saw that was really disgusting was a hybrid, a Rottweiler and a Corgi. Oh
Oh
my
God.
God,
what in the world?
disgusting!
Oh,
You wanna mix something, do a Rottweiler and a golden retriever. You get
right.
a golden colored Rottweiler.
Oh
It's
yeah.
beautiful. It's a beautiful dog. I've seen them, but a Corgi. Oh
Even
my God!
physically, it just doesn't
Ah,
make sense.
Doesn't
it just
no, it doesn't match up.
no, no. It's I don't know.
Is
What?
that would you call that a low rider or a low rider? I don't
Oh,
know
a
what
low
you'd call
rider.
it.
Yeah,
Low
probably
rider.
a Crotter, a Crottweiler or
A
something.
Rottweiler with stubbed legs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Wow.
terrible. And
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 what a
even
temperament.
even worse. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
know. It just wants to rip your ankles apart. But even worse is a Chihuahua and a Rottweiler. I mean, that is like I don't know
and,
how they
and,
did
and,
that.
and I'm sorry. And y'all had to start this. I'm dealing with that here now with certain people, and it's laziness. It's, oh, my dog got loose and went somewhere else. Well,
yes.
keep a better eye on your dog. You
Yep.
know, it just
The only way they could have done that though is with a female Rottweiler,
and a male Chihuahua,
six
Male
months
Chihuahua.
old,
Yep.
6 months old,
Yep.
or
and
laying on the ground,
laying down on the
Yeah.
ground.
or a real energetic Chihuahua
Yeah.
with wings.
Oh.
I'm just disgusted because as an owner,
Yeah.
past owner of Rottweilers, I just don't like that.
You know what comes to mind right now? I'm gonna
Oh.
quote a famous movie.
Oh,
Shall
no.
I get you a box? And I don't understand it. It's just, oh, Chico's got extendo legs. But I do agree with you, Nick. You know that's a, I'm a very pro advocate for dogs. Of course,
Yeah.
everybody knows that. But yeah, responsible breeding to me is. I almost took in a wonderful dog. It was half Rhodesian Ridgeback, half
Nice.
Belgian Malinois.
Oh.
And we got to talking to them and stuff, and come find out that the mother was the Rhodesian Ridgeback. Well, she had been inbred. Her parents was brother and sister, and I said I have no use for that.
No. When they do that, the temperament gets
Oh
bad.
God, yeah. And you talk about something that would even tear me up. A Rhodesian Ridgeback and a Belgian Malinois would eat my butt.
Yeah,
But-
you can't trust them because there's something wrong in their brain
Yep.
when
Yeah.
they make them inbred like that.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
just not.
And-
mm.
And I'm not knocking anybody. If I offend anybody that listens to this, I'm sorry. But as a breed, Chihuahuas are less regulated. Have been less regulated for 100 years. Even like the Rottweilers and the Bloodhounds and some of the older and anything can happen. I understand accidents can happen, but consistently with these older breeds like the Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, Golden Retrievers, is AKC has stepped in, and people have bred these things over time and got away from the line
Right.
breeding and inbreeding. And they haven't done that with. And I tell you another one here in Oklahoma is the world's worst about it is pit bulls. I love
Yeah.
pit bulls.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
pit man. I'm a pit
They
man.
they are good dogs.
They
They
are,
are.
but they're just
Inbred.
not regulated.
Yeah.
Nah.
The people inbreed them too much. Yeah.
Well,
I've
keep
always
on-
been a pit bull lover. I've always
Oh,
had
yeah.
pit bulls and,
You've had pit bulls as long as I've known you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And now, a key point back on the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
If these animals have, like Nick was saying, in the condition of the one that we've seen, has mange and has issues to where it would not be able to hunt and for itself, it would go after the easier targets. Now, sheep, like Nick was saying, everybody knows wolves go after sheep and everything else. Well, the reason they do is because sheep run in a herd. So literally, you ain't got to chase one. You just run in and bite. You're going to bite something.
Absolutely.
But even the temperament Okay, this is the reason we're seeing more of these coming out now is they can't hide, they can't run fast, so
Right.
people are having more sightings, especially in Southwest Texas, because they just can't hide.
Right.
They can't run because their skin is literally cracking
Yeah.
on them, and I feel sorry for these animals.
I do too. It's got to be horrible.
It would.
Gary,
And-
I sent you 2 pictures.
Yeah.
If you could throw them up. This is called a Zolo. It's a Mexican hairless dog. And
Okay, which one do you want?
Okay.
Either one with the lady or,
I got one in a cage. I got one with the hair that we done seen.
No, I mean, I sent it to you.
Yeah, these are the one with the lady, the one holding the head.
No. I sent you 2 new ones.
Oh, you just sent them. My bad.
Yeah.
Take me just a minute to pull them up, folks.
Now, this is called an XOLO, a Zolo. It's a beautiful dog, but it's got extremely short hair. For people that have allergies, you don't need to get a poodle. You can get a Zolo.
Right.
And they're beautiful dogs. I mean, I think.
And you talk about a Chupacabra looking thing.
Yeah, it looks like a Chupacabra. When you look at it, it's smaller though.
Okay, share screen. Where's my share screen button?
Down below, it's in green.
Yeah.
The green share screen. There we go. That's a real dog.
Look at that thing.
That is a real dog.
So if you mix that with a coyote or a wolf, what would you get?
Exactly.
A Woolo, or instead of a Zolo, a Woolo.
My whole point.
Put up the
Go
other
ahead.
picture too now, the first one.
Not that one.
No, not that one.
That one.
There we go. All right, there's a female Zolo.
Okay, now watch this. If you took that and mixed it with a coyote, you would end up with something like this.
Yep.
Yeah, the hairiness.
Yep.
But that right there, folks, is a prime example of see the coyote head?
Yep.
And the hair here, and then the mange. See the mange on the tail?
And the mange is starting to creep its way up.
Absolutely. Yep. Sorry, let's go back to the Zolo. But if you know what's funny? You say that. Look at that and that. Look at here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's another rendition of what a Chupacabra was. But that was the bipedal one.
Yeah. Nick, I think you hit it right on the head. I think it's a misidentification.
That's all it is. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
But these dogs here are very expensive, and they're controlled. Their breeding is controlled very tightly in Mexico. Of all things, Mexico does control the breeding of these dogs. And
once again, the dark skin.
Buy one. They're a lot of money.
Oh,
once again, the dark skin. You know, a lot of folks think that certain breeds of dogs do have light skin, but even like Scout, the Belgian Malinois, his skin is dark, almost a gray, like similar to this. Right. A Chow's skin is almost blue.
Well, their tongue.
Their skin too.
Their tongue is blue. But I've seen the golden Chows.
Yeah.
The black Chows. They've got this funny looking purple bluish tongues and those things. By the way, Chow Chows. If you get one, you definitely have to make it obedient and make it known.
They can be mean.
Make it known to it who is the master and who is not.
Yeah.
You've got to train those dogs. Any dog you have to train, but more so a Chow Chow.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for somebody to catch a dog man and give it to me so I can train it. Nick, catch me a dog man.
You got to get a little baby one. It's got to get them from when they're babyhood.
That's what I'm saying. Go find me one. And
Gery does a show with he's feeding it a bottle.
Bottle thing.
Hey, I tell you what, if my presumption, honestly, if my presumption on the physical dog man, I don't know how we got off on this, is right, I could train it. If it's a physical being that I think it is, it can be trained.
I can see you now having it go after a barrel out there and I'll tell you something though, Gery. You're spoiled with your Belgian Malinois. because the shepherds that they have over there in Germany and everything, and any other kind of dog, nothing like the Malinois.
No,
Nothing.
fur missile, fur
Nothing.
missile.
Yep, that's what we call them, the fur
I
missiles.
I am actually I turned down a dog last 2 weeks ago. We did find him a home. He was on to be a rescue, but he was half shepherd, half Belgium.
Okay.
But I am fixing to start a new breed.
That's what you were telling me.
I don't like his new breed. I heard about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do half Great Pyrenees, half Belgium.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you.
Oh,
were
I thought you were
saying
talking. You mentioned
Airedale.
another one to me.
Oh
too.
no, we actually, believe it or not, I did a little bit. I love the Airedale as a pure blood, but the physical attributes of the Airedale and the Belgium would just not mesh.
No.
And I want to go with something with some size, so we're going to go with the Great Pyrenees.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Yeah,
That's a big
Yeah.
boy. That's a big guy. We've gone
I
on before.
thought, huh?
You've run Great Pyrenees before.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Football,
I've had
right?
Great Pyrenees and Shepherds. I've had full blood Great Pyrenees. But what we're wanting to do is do something with a little bit more mass, but has more drive than the Shepherd without the hip
Right.
dysplasia. And I was looking at a Cane Corso or a Bull Mastiff, but they have the hip dysplasia, and they just don't have the mental awareness that I want. And I wanted to go something. I even looked at the Caucasian Shepherd, but they're just not controllable. Well, one of the most controllable big dogs, which the Great Pyrenees is in the same class as the Cane Corso and all the Mastiffs, is the Great Pyrenees, because we've bred them for thousands of years to protect sheep. But I want to tone back the Malinois and bring the hyperness of the Great Pyrenees up, and we got to talking about that, and I was like, you know what, that would be to me a great combination. That's what we're going to do pretty quick, but like you said, they ain't a Belgie, they ain't a fur missile.
Nothing is like a pure blood.
A fur missile, Malinois.
Like those things.
They're not.
I mean, those
man.
things they take a running jump, and I mean,
Awesome. Dog.
25 feet later, it's on your throat. Oh,
Yeah, I made the mistake the other day. I put Scout on a diet and got him all ramped up in the living room in here, and that sucker did about 3 turns off of the couch. It looked like a NASCAR going up on the bank of it. He was just all over the place. I was like, "What has gotten into you?" But yeah, I've been hit. 60, 75-pound dog at 40 mile an hour with nothing but razor blades coming at you, even with that. That big bite suit, there ain't nothing you can do. They're going to knock you over.
You're going to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, 75, 78 pounds of pure muscle and the speed that they get up to.
Yeah.
It hits that arm. Bam, you're down.
Now, I know we're talking Chupacabra, but everybody ought to know by this time when we do these shows, we do kind of flake off every now and then. Nick, I want to throw something at you. I was thinking about this the other day. That thing that dog man that you seen, we figure is 8 feet tall. And what are you figuring, 500-600 pounds?
I said it was about 650 pounds, 7 feet 7 inches when I measured it against the stop sign.
Now, we know what a Malinois can do at 65, 70 pounds at 40 mile an hour. Think of what that thing could do.
Oh my God.
No, just the mass and the power of something like that.
Yeah.
And a lady who Josh Turner, he got her to do some drawings for her book, and Josh is putting my story in his book along with the artwork from this lady. Now, Sibylla, she sent me a sketch of it, and Gary, I'm gonna copy and paste this into your thing. If you'll throw it up there, she gave. I mean, it was amazing. This lady is amazing. I mean, this is her hand drawing. And like I said to her, I said, "Wow, you are good." It's kind of dark, but maybe you could blow it up.
Yeah, I am.
I want the audience to take a look at this thing, and it's. I have been doing cryptozoology for a little while there, and I came across this thing. Is like, what the heck is that? You know, if you could throw that up on a screen and,
Yeah.
and maybe
I'm
enlarge
working on
it. If you enlarge it, maybe it'll. Okay, right there.
Awesome.
All right, come down a little bit. No, I don't mean that way. I mean shrink it. Okay. Now, people, when I came around the circle, this is what I saw. Now, in its hand, its right hand is a hindquarter of a deer, and
Yeah.
there was a bicycle chained up to this stop sign.
No.
And it was a small bike, and that's the reason why I thought there was a bear, and I thought, you know, there's a human being attached to that bicycle, and I got to do something about it. And this lady captured a wonderful rendition of what happened that night. The stop sign was a little bit taller than him, but yep.
You do know that legally stop signs have to be 6 foot to the bottom of the stop sign.
This is in a park, so it's
So
not,
it would be.
It's not
Yeah.
Department of Transportation legal.
Oh, okay.
But
It's still at least 6 or 7 foot.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, that thing was higher than that. See the bar that holds the sign?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bar was actually higher,
Oh,
much
gotcha.
higher.
Okay.
It was sticking out about 8 feet out of the ground.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Those
Legally, they got to be above 6 foot.
Those are 10-foot bars
Yeah.
in Jersey, and they put them into the ground 2 feet, and there's 8 feet sticking up.
So he's
And-
ever been a 7, 8 feet tall.
He was
Absolutely.
7 feet 7 inches, because when I measured it to the stop sign, my eye to the top of its head to the stop sign, it measured 7'7". And I'm telling you, it was
God.
very muscular, and to my mind, it was 650 pounds. I mean, this thing was huge,
You know what?
absolutely huge. So
I don't know how many bullets it would take to bring that thing down, but I know how many I'd use. All of them.
yeah, all of them.
Absolutely.
I'd go through the rifle and the pistol, and
Yep.
All but one. Because if that
Save
thing
it.
kept coming through all that, I'd be saving it for me.
You friggin' right.
But realistically, you know, and it's funny we got off on this, but it kind of comes down to all cryptids.
Sure.
How do you put this without sounding silly? There is, no matter what the legend, the story, the anything, there is some semblance of truth. There's always a kernel of truth in something. There is in all legends, there's some sighting, there's some, and there has to be something there. But with these guys, even with Chupacabra, with Dogman and Bigfoot, we are having an escalation of sightings. Guys, I've been doing this 25 years. Nick, you've been doing it 25, 30 years. Jeremiah, I know you've been doing it 25, 30 years. I don't know if it's more people or more comfortable coming out with it. It's an escalation.
It is.
I don't think that the populations are growing myself in Bigfoot. I don't know about Dogman because I've yet to see one. Don't want to see one. If I ever see one, I'm gonna have a heart attack and die, and I'll be Dogman feed, bait, whatever you want to call it. But there's got to be something there. Now, in saying that, just today, guys, literally, I shared the video with you. Congressional hearing. Here's a little bit of justification for all of us cryptid guys, because I don't care what anybody says, UFOs are just like cryptids. U.S. government acknowledges possession of alien bodies and UFOs since the 40s. Flat out sworn affidavits, sworn under perjury of law on live television. We have had them. So we know aliens.
why not cryptids?
Why not cryptids?
Maybe the cryptids are the aliens.
Absolutely. See,
Maybe
now you're talking.
Maybe the dog man is a pet of an alien that's bigger than him. You know, the
Very
giants
well.
they have out there.
Or maybe a dogman is a genetic experiment from an alien race.
Right.
Exactly.
My personal opinion, Bigfoot has been here all along. I think Bigfoot is the original race on the planet. They're more apt to this planet like all the other primates. I think we're the star children.
They're
here.
more Neanderthal looking and
Yeah, but
primate.
Dogman,
Yeah,
I think Dogman is a genetic embellishment of some outside stimulus. I don't think that man and dog genetically, without some kind of outside,
no,
it's just not physically able.
Yeah.
It's just too fantastic to
Yeah,
imagine.
and that would also explain all the native, the First Nations people all over the world. It's not just North America. Talk about dogmen in the race. The Egyptians, Anubis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they have these things drawn on the side of walls.
Absolutely.
Thousands of years ago, they did.
Absolutely.
The Native Americans have these things drawn on
thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Native Americans have flying saucers drawn on the side
Absolutely.
of the wall.
Absolutely. And now,
what the heck?
And now the U.S. government is saying, yes, there is aliens. There is spaceships. So what else is there? So all you folks that are listening to this that has felt that people are calling you crazy and everything else, well, here's a little bit of justification. They've admitted that there's aliens. They've admitted that they have bodies. They've admitted we can't deny this anymore.
No.
It made me feel good because you guys know that I've always questioned what I seen,
Sure.
and maybe he was an alien, you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have one of my members reported in the Quad Coalition today. She didn't see it today, but it was seen in Maine, a thunderbird.
Yeah.
And this thing says it's, I think I'm quoting her correctly, about 25 feet, wingspan. It's super large. So, I mean, they just don't stay down in Texas or Arizona. The thunderbirds, they're flying all over the place, but they're not seen that much.
That's what I was just fixing to say, though. Y'all do know, though, that they released some American condors on the East Coast and the West Coast.
In Virginia, especially.
In Virginia, absolutely.
Yep.
They did release the American condor.
All right.
That could be something to it, but
could be. Yeah.
Well,
What do they have a wingspan of about 12 feet? The American condor.
10, about 10 feet. Yeah, 10 feet.
I have personally measured a great horned owl at 7.5 feet.
Oh yeah, they're massive.
I believe the golden eagle has a larger wingspan. They're about a good 12 feet.
I was going to say, I think they'll go 12. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 12 feet, so they're one of the largest out there. And
I think
she said this thing was the size of a Piper airplane. A Piper Cub airplane, which is about 25 feet. And she said the body and everything, it was just huge.
Yeah.
So,
my first question on that is we do have drones. So, a lot of it I'd have to listen to the report and the story, how far away she was, what kind of a description she gave, because we do have drones now that are 20 to 25 feet.
I did give her more questions, and I think she answered a few of them. I didn't read them all yet, but she said definitely bird-like, so it's like, wow, something like that. And, in the past, back in the early 1900s, you have a lot of reports of children being picked up by these large birds.
Absolutely.
Fact, this one lady down in the southern part of the United States, she went after the thing with a broom and slammed it, and it dropped her son. He was 8 years old.
Yeah,
he was only a few feet off the ground at the time.
Yep.
Throw something at you.
A bird of prey to be able to lift a child off the ground like that. Think of the power.
Oh, think of the size. My God.
It happens all the time in Peru and Bolivia from the harpy eagle. It's about the same size as the golden eagle.
That's a mean bird.
It's a nasty looking thing,
Yeah, but you also think a golden eagle. How many times have you seen a golden eagle lift a 40-pound salmon out of the water?
Right.
It just... Yeah. But I tell you what I've gotten into real big lately is me and my partner's working on a side project on the Skinwalker Ranch, because y'all know I used to live there, lived right north of it.
Yeah.
And they have literally come out and proven that there is a multi-dimensional anomaly there. So I have friends in Texas that I trust with my life, and they swear they've seen pterodactyls.
Yes, I've
And
heard
and
some of that. Yep.
Yeah.
and I wouldn't. I'm not going to knock it no more. Here's the thing. After today, as much Nick, me and you both served. We know how secretive some parts of the government can be. But I'm telling you right now, when they come out on national television
Mm-hmm.
and say, I will say his exact words, I will say this. I will neither acknowledge or
Confirm
deny,
nor deny.
deny
Yeah.
outside of security parameters. But, but we do have in possession said objects.
Yeah.
That do y'all understand what that changes?
No.
All my conspiracy theories of of Antarctica, pull it right back up. Skinwalker Ranch, throw it right back up. I mean, it's like guys, we are in a very. I was talking to my partner today. We are in such a unique time right now.
Oh yeah.
Things
Even
are gonna be
Stacy got
coming out.
talking about it the other day.
Yeah, Jeremiah. That's a whole nother show,
That's a whole
buddy.
nother- oh, yeah.
That's oh God.
Yep.
I expect in the next 2 or 3 years we're going to see the clouds, and I'm not talking religion, guys. The
Right.
clouds ain't going to part. They're going to part, and there's going to be a spaceship coming through it.
Yep.
Because we've all known it. We'd be awful arrogant to think we're the only ones here.
I was asked that question on a talk show, on a YouTube talk show about a year and a half ago. They said, when do you think it's going to come out from the government, full blast? And I said in about 3 years. That was a year and a half ago. And
Yeah.
they're starting to trickle stuff. And folks, when they start to come out with everything that they know, I know people are going to start prepping. Because
Well, I will
some of
tell you
this
this.
stuff is bad.
I will tell you this. If this big alien airship comes out of the sky and lands and a bunch of dogmen walk out of it, I'm just going to die. I'm going to have a heart attack. Here, there, take a bullet. I'm sorry. Nick done screwed up and made me a part of this whole dogman thing, and I don't know why, because I'm terrified of them.
Yeah, I'm hooked on it now too, Gary. So
I'm telling you.
Gary, you now run the IDP Oklahoma.
Exactly.
I know, and we're actually
International
picking up.
Dogman Project Oklahoma.
Yep.
That's Gary.
Matter of fact,
we back you up, right, Jay?
yeah.
We back him
Yeah.
up.
I actually got to go to Collinsville, Oklahoma, pretty soon because we had a report out there. I'm going to go talk to the lady before I, put it all on the deal because I want to confirm it. But she says she's seen one. Well, Jeremiah, I talked to you about it the other day.
yeah.
With up in the tree.
Yeah.
But I thought that was LBL. It wasn't. That's Collinsville, Oklahoma.
Collinsville, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I thought it was LBL, and I got a hold of the guy that's involved over there, and he said no, he said, and then I got a hold of the actual guy that told me, and he said it was his mother seen it in Collinsville, Oklahoma, which is not too far from where a lot of folks see stuff like that in Lake Uwaga. But it's just.
You said you lived you lived in Utah for a while?
I lived on the north face of the mesa. The Skinwalker Ranch is on the southern face. Yes, I lived in Fort Duchesne, Utah.
Very, very weird place.
I lived there. Matter of fact, Nick, you know about my wreck that caused me to be in a wheelchair. That was Flaming Gorge, Utah. I spent 18 months in Salt Lake City, a Utah hospital in a hospital bed. Then another 3 years in a wheelchair.
No.
Why? What do you got going on in Utah?
Well,
right.
Besides the fact that I'd like to go on to their land and investigate any dogman activity over there.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I know, but what they're investigating presently, and they've been doing only, is investigating this triangle area.
Yeah,
and they're sending rockets up, and they're sending
the flames in and the bottles with
hundreds of drones at one time, and they're dropping. The battery power is going down.
Yeah.
However, they have a team that they sent out to, I believe, New Mexico, to where the Navajo
and Arizona.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Navajo Nation,
Yes.
and they were going after reports of real skinwalkers.
Yes.
It's
And
the
it's
Four Corners region, I think, right?
yeah, well,
Yes, it was.
It's yeah, thank you. The Four Corners region.
Yeah.
If you shoot a, a straight line, roll the way up, it goes straight through Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, I'll just show you right quick. Let me just show you right quick. There's more to it than just that. Let me. You're absolutely right. That whole area is crazy.
The reservation, the tribal police department has a unit just for those type of calls.
Yeah,
On that
Skinwalker calls.
reservation. Yep.
And those people are definitely do not want to talk about that. Not
Yeah.
at all. But they have a separate unit that's not part of the police.
Yes, they do.
Do
You're
talk
right.
about, but they're no longer part of their former police. Yeah, Navajo police.
Okay, Four Corners.
Yep.
Right here.
Right cheer. Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, like you said, if you shoot a line straight north, Skinwalker Ranch, go to Craig, Colorado, cut straight over into the Uinta Basin, Fort Duchesne. Where you at? Skinwalker UAP landing zone.
Yeah.
Here is the famous Skinwalker Ranch, main access road, and then it cuts in. I lived. There's a Sacred Stone Navajo. I used to have picnics right there.
Oh. Ooh.
Watch this. You go straight north. Right there's my old house.
Yeah.
We used to run cattle all over that place. I used to date the girl that lived right here, and I'll leave her name out just for respect of them.
Right.
But I can still, and I probably shouldn't be saying this online, but I can get access from right here up to anywhere in here. The Skinwalker Ranch property all starts down here. We can go at any time, Nick, and we can park right here, and they'll take us over here in four-wheelers.
Oh, wow. That'd be
Nice.
I literally, Jeremiah, you heard me talk about the taking the pot shot at the cougar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yes.
You see this canyon right here?
Yep. That's where
I
it was at.
I was riding with my best friend, which is her brother, Joe. I'll say his name. We was riding through here, and we set up right here and waited for it because he felt funny, and we literally watched that rascal walk and follow our trail down that arroyo.
Oh,
Yeah,
over
he's
here, we
stalking
Sitting,
you, huh?
sticking
He
his
was
nose
stalking
to
us.
the ground.
Ooh.
Sticking his nose to the ground like a bloodhound, and I was sitting here and I shot at him with a 30-30, and he took off.
Oh,
But this is literally, you want to see where I got put in a wheelchair? I was driving truck for the Bureau of Land Management. I was coming around this bend right here. My brakes went out.
ooh.
I went off that dam right there and landed right here.
Oh, God, Gary. That's right. I remember you telling me about that. Yep.
Damn.
I'll be honest with you, I will tear up thinking about Utah.
Well,
I
at
would
least you
sti-
put it in the parking spot.
I'd have been a lot better off if I'd have taken it off over here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
You're right.
you
In the water.
you used to be able to still see the damage.
Look at the dam over there. Oh,
Look right there.
God.
Yeah, you can see
Look
it.
right here.
Ah.
Look at the marks.
Wow.
See the marks? And that's all documentable, folks. There's Oklahoma State Highway Patrol reports. There's doctors' reports. Yeah, that's man, that's a touchy. That's how would we say? That's emotional times for me, man.
Sure.
Talking about Utah.
Damn.
And what's funny, I lived there the whole time. I lived there for 4 years and never knew about Skinwalker Ranch until about 4 years ago. Like all that stuff had crazy stuff. I could tell you stories about that place, and that's what we're doing. We're working on a book.
Yeah.
But I could tell you about crazy. I literally chasing cows across the top of that mesa and a storm come up, and you no lightning or nothing, just storm clouds, and you see St. Elmo's fire on the cattle. You know, that static electricity charge, and literally feel the hair on the back of your head. We would literally barrel off that mesa, and lightning would strike. You know, it's just that stuff's crazy over there.
I was doing a lot of research on Skinwalker Ranch, and well, specifically the land, and I wanted to get into a geological survey.
And a lot of silica.
All this. Well, what I wanted to bring up besides silica, though, is nickel. Something they don't say, and I don't know why they're not saying this. Maybe because they don't really want to say anything like that out there, because that would prove a couple of things that happened to people out there. You know, when they were going around up in the mountains and into the caves, and they were digging, and people were going, "Oh, I'm dizzy in my head," and this and that. Well, what do you think a magnetic field does to a human?
No, absolutely.
Every human is affected differently, but there's a lot of nickel under that land in certain areas over there. Heavy concentrations, and nickel is magnetic. It's highly magnetic. So that's something I had researched out over there. And besides the silica, which is actually something that we need in our bodies anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna continue too much on that subject until we get off the air, because I have something I want to talk to you privately about, Nick, about that.
Yeah, but actually, Jay, I think we're overtime.
I will say one thing though. Neola, Arkansas. What's the name of it? Just a second. I just seen it. Eagle Mine in Neola, Arkansas is one of the oldest nickel mines in Utah. Neola, Utah, not Arkansas, sorry. And Neola is about 50 miles straight north of Fort Duchesne and Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Lots of things going on. That's a whole show in itself.
I know, but that explains a lot of things.
Yes.
But they don't really want to say it, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, you take it away.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us again, and we'll be back next week with another cryptid. I don't think we got to get with each other this week and discuss what we're going to cover next week.
Yeah.
Unless, Nick, you have any ideas?
I got a couple ideas, but I think we'll talk about it first.
I think we'll wait. Okay.
Yeah.
I know one I want to cover before too long, and we've been talking about it all afternoon.
Yeah.
Dogmen.
Oh God! Everybody talks about.
I understand, but there are different variants of dogmen.
Yeah, I know.
That people don't talk about.
Yeah,
this is true.
But we'll talk about that after the deal. We'll keep it as a surprise.
There we go. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, everybody.
And everyone have a good evening.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, guys.